So if you're looking for some podcasts that are not your typical mom podcast, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Plan, Prep, Pray. Hey girlie, my name is Wendy and I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom of 4 little ones, and on this channel I talk about all things homeschooling, homemaking, mommy self-care, and kids empowerment. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. So this is a collaboration with my girl Tori from the Oglesby Ohana. We've got some news. We are starting a podcast. It is The Fruitful Vine. It is gonna be all things womanhood, motherhood, parenthood. It's just gonna be good, okay? So you've got to check it out. All the information will be linked down below. After this video, go ahead and watch her video on her favorite podcast, which will probably be more like mom podcasts and amazing podcasts. So definitely check hers out, and then check out our podcast. Check out our first introductory video, which came out yesterday. So let me know what you think. We have a giveaway going on with the podcast, so definitely check out the podcast. You don't want to miss the giveaway. All right, so let me be real with you. I am not your average mom, traditional podcasters, you know, listening to all things about like homemaking and like homeschooling and stuff like that. So I hope this is actually useful and beneficial to you, but it's just I've never really listened to those types of podcasts, and these are the podcasts that I gravitate towards, that I find to be like funny and interesting and good. I kind of, with my podcast, like to, except for one, I like to jump out of my everyday mommyhood things, and I like to just listen to other things and get knowledgeable on other things that I wouldn't normally be invested in or interested in. So my first podcast is the Dave Ramsey Show. Now, I'm obsessed with Dave Ramsey. I think he's so hilarious. Like, I think he is a like closet comedian. He is so funny to me, and he's so like in your face. And honestly, I learned so much from his podcast, especially when it comes to financing and things like that.
Your income doesn't matter. Your age doesn't matter. Your race doesn't matter. Your geographical location doesn't matter. There's a thing that you and I are dealing with in your money, and it's called math. And none of those things I just mentioned give you a pass on math. And where people get themselves in trouble, including when I went broke many years ago because I was stupid, we get ourselves in trouble when we don't bother and do the math before we do the transaction.
I love that podcast. I think it's hilarious. I think he, like, the things that people have accomplished with their finances, I find that so interesting, but that could just be the math side of me talking, and that, but I love his podcast. I think it's amazing. I love his video podcast as well. So yeah, Dave Ramsey's my first one. Now the second podcast, I doubt just like very much that anyone from my subscribers is listening to this podcast, but it's the truth. I love the Dan Le Batard Show. It's pretty much a sports podcast type show, and it is hilarious. Like, they talk about things that are happening socially, as well as, you know, as well as sports, and which I'm really into, like basketball and football and stuff like that.
Team to the New England Patriots, and I'm concerned that they're not going to be able to back it up. I want them to beat the Patriots. I don't want them to lose to them.
Got it.
That's all I'm concerned about.
Just Patriots to losers.
Ers will give you another dozen plus a vase absolutely free. Go to 1-800flowers.com/ESPN.
I was laughing yesterday while I was pulled over by that police officer, and I'm in a car, and it's 3 blocks from where it is that I need to go. So I'm listening to Stephen A. Smith's radio show for 3 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, he was screaming at me about how he likes how the Yankees look.
They take it in a way that it's funny and they laugh at themselves. And it's just, I don't know, it makes me laugh. And I like to laugh. And it's fun to me. So I love the Dan Le Batard show. Ladies, if you don't know about it, ask your husbands. They know about it. It's just amazing, okay? Take my word for it. If you want to shock your husband, just be like, I was listening to Dan Le Batard with Stu Gatz today, and they'll be like, what? So I'm giving some wife advice. So the third podcast that I'm obsessed with is the Mosaic podcast with Erwin McManus. I am obsessed with that podcast. I obviously can't go to their church because it's pretty much the church message that he gives. He takes it and he puts it on a podcast version for you to listen to. And that man can preach. I love his preaching. I love his approach. I love how he's very logic-based.
To go, God, I'm here. I'm all yours. Jesus, I'm giving you my whole life. And then the next morning you wake up and it's still you. It's still your life. Everything didn't change. You have the same job. You have the same boyfriend. Nothing changed that you needed to change. And so you have the same problems. You have the same momentum from all your past choices. So last week we talked about how Jesus did not come to give us a new religion. He did not come to give us new beliefs. He came to give us a new life. But a part of the challenge sometimes is when someone's trying to give you something that you think you already have. So then Jesus gave us this promise. He said, I come to give you life and to give you life in abundance, which would seem so easy because we all want to live. But it's hard for God to give us life when we think we're already alive. So a huge part of the journey is for God to help you see that you're just existing. And what he has to give you is so much different than whatever you know and whatever you had.
He teaches in a way that resonates with me. So if you just need some good preaching, I would definitely check out the Mosaic podcast with Erwin McManus. In my opinion, he just does not disappoint. It's so good. Now, I know I've been saying all these podcasts that are not mommy-centered or anything like that, but I listen to 2 mommy-centered podcasts, okay? And one of which is The Parenting Junkie. I think she is amazing with her tips on positive parenting. I've adapted and used a lot of her tips. I watch her on YouTube as well as her podcast, and I've learned so much from her.
It turns out that just like learning to walk, learning to eat, and to potty, I might add, can be a gradual, natural process without much intervention on the parent's part, apart from just providing the safe opportunity and following the child's lead.
It's really changed a lot of my parenting style. So I would definitely recommend The Parenting Junkie. And then my 6th podcast would be Sally Clarkson's podcast. Now, I've read goals, read all her books. But I've read quite a few of her books, and her podcast is amazing as well.
Sweet friend, you are a wonderful mother. What you're doing matters so much to God. I know there are many times you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, lonely, unsupported in your role as a mom. Please know that all of us fail. We all make mistakes and feel inadequate. But I see you seeking to be so very intentional and faithful.
She gives wonderful advice and just godly scripture-based advice, and her voice is just very soothing, and it's just motherly. So I love her podcast as well. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, bonus podcast, The Fruitful Vine. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's amazing. Come on, let's go. Hey ladies, I'm Tori and I'm Wendy. Welcome to the Fruitful Vine, where we delight in motherhood and life, one honest conversation at a time. Hey ladies, we are so happy that you are joining us on this new platform that Wendy and I have been laboring away at. We're so excited, aren't we, Wendy? Yeah! It's so good. It's by these two women, Wendy from Plan Prep Play and Tori from the Oglesby Ohana. No, but for real, check out the podcast. You'll love it. We're just here to serve, and it really resonates. So I'll definitely check it out. Comment down below. Let me know. Have you heard of any of these podcasts that I'm talking about? Please let me know I'm not alone. Somebody out there is watching Dan Le Batard. Don't forget to check out Tori's video on her favorite podcast, and all my podcasts will be linked down below, as well as The Fruitful Vine. And I will see you next time. Bye. That is all nope, that's it. I already gave an ending. Don't worry about that. Weird. Okay, yep, that's definitely gonna go in my thing.